Hello and welcome to Don't Dry Up Hydration Trap Secrets. And I am so excited today because I'm actually going to critique a video and I'm going to play it and stop it as we go along. And it's of this young lady talking about hydration and talking about the traps to avoid. And so let's get right in it. Let's make sure that very good. My Instagram family is here. My YouTube, make sure that if you're not already, subscribe to Plant Based Penny on YouTube. And we're going to start with the video. And the young lady that we have on this video is Plant Based Penny.
When I say it is, you say hot. It is hot. It is hot. And it is hot out here. As a result, we need to understand and not be in the number of people who are going to the hospital because of dehydration and sunstroke issues. So we want to make sure that we are not consuming those things that are going to lead to dehydration in our bodies. So what might they be? Yes, salty foods is one thing that a lot of people think of. And salty foods, you might say, okay, let me just skip the chips. But for those of us who cook, the sauces that we add to our foods may also have quite a bit of sodium to them and leading to our dehydration. So look at the sauces like the soy sauce that we might add to our food or the amino acids that we might add to our foods. I like to use coconut aminos because it has a lower salt content and still has some flavor. 75% of Americans are chronic.
Okay, so I did want to stop and show you what I use, and this is Nutiva Coconut Secret Coconut Aminos. And so this is what I use. I will use soy sauce on occasion, sometimes if I'm making it for other people and they're hyperpalative. If I'm making a dish for people who are not on my plan and who prefer a really salty dish or a saltier dish, then I will use it. But I do use and recommend the coconut aminos, coconut secret, because this one has so much less sodium. You should compare the backs of the products that you buy. That's what you should be looking at. Not any of the claims on the front of the bottles, but those on the back. And so we're going to go back to the video now and continue.
Dehydrated. So that is not a statistic that you want to be in. Also, when people go outside to these different festivals and events, 1 in 10 people are going to suffer from a heat stroke, a sunstroke. So what can we do? Avoid those things, the salty foods, and also the high protein. A lot of times we go to the food trucks or we go to the family cookout and we're just loading our plate up with the meats. The meat's going to lead to increased work in the kidneys, and that's going to lead to urination, which is going to increase. So that can lead to dehydration. So you want to make sure that you're aware of that as well. So salty foods, protein, and what we drink. So we're hot, right? So it's hot outside. So what is it that we do? We reach for something nice and cool out of the cool.
Okay, coming back here just to mention what I just said. The first statistic was that 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated, which is a shocking number. So that's a statistic that we want to avoid in our life. And also, I wanted to point out what's the big deal with dehydration. And is not just the fact that you may end up in the hospital with sunstroke or because of dehydration. You may be at home and just your regular life, but you may be having problems with movement. And I don't mean dance movement, I mean bowel movements. And so if you are hydrated, then your colon absorbs the water to try to move your waste matter out, then it needs to have water. So it has to have water. Your body has to have water to digest the food that you even eat. And so it's going to find water from somewhere, and it's going to be pulling water from your muscles and your joints somewhere, because it's going to need the water to function and function properly. If we don't have it, then not only are we going to have constipation, I wrote this down, constipation, fatigue is going to be another issue. Wrinkles, another issue. You're not old, you just look old because you are dehydrated. And so that is just something that's really important. This is why I'm even talking about it. It may seem simple. Okay, drink your water. No, we actually have to be hydrated in the process, because we don't want to cause problems that cause doctor visits, that cause pills, that cause bills. We want to avoid all of that. And just learning these secrets of avoiding these traps are going to help us. So let me know also in the comments. I want to make sure that you are able to hear the video. So I'm going to go back to the video right now. Thank you very much.
Cooler out of the fridge, thinking that that's going to quench our thirst. And because it quenches our thirst, then it's going to be hydrating us. Sorry, that's not correct. If you are drinking things that dehydrate you, like the caffeinated beverages, the coffees, the Cokes, those are pulling the fluids out of your cells. And as a result, that's leading to dehydration. The sugary drinks that you drink, the energy drinks that people consume, they also dehydrate us. Some of the sweetened teas, and for those of us in the South, sweet teas, I know I'm making no friends today, but that's okay. That leads to dehydration. So you even need to drink even more H2O, water, because you're consuming these other foods and drinks. So what do we do?
So what do we do is what I was about to say. I did leave out one drink that I do want to mention, and that is alcohol. Actually, I just went to the store for somebody else to pick something up for them. And the clerk that was checking me out, I was saying that, I said, well, she said, unless you want to give me a tip, we were having a conversation. And I said, yeah, I'll give you a tip. Drink more water because it's hot out here. And she laughed and she says, or drink alcohol because it just depends on which one. And I said, yeah, but if you drink alcohol, that's going to dehydrate you. And then she cleverly said, well, and it sounds like that I need to drink more water. So anyway, that is the other beverage that a lot of people drink thinking that they might be quenching their thirst, but it's actually dehydrating, pulling water from the cells in their body. And the interesting thing about that is there's so much more validated studies and scientific evidence now that there is no amount of alcohol that you can drink that is considered good for you. So there have been so many studies done that were underwritten by the people who wanted the studies to come out in their favor. Sort of like, alcohol was like a campaign, sugar, fat, all of those were campaigns. There were campaigns against coconut milk, against coconut oil, saying it was bad for you. And there were campaigns saying that tobacco was good for you. And the sugar industry told us that their fat was bad for us when really sugar is bad for us. So it is so important that you're educated, or as I call fugicated, on these matters. There is no amount of alcohol that is good for you. And it also dehydrates you. So let's go back to our video. Thank you very much.
Do plant-based Penny? Well, there is something that you can do. You can consume, as grandma used to say, eat your vegetables. Eat your vegetables, especially the ones that are high in water content. Eat your fruits that are high in water content. Some of those include one of my favorite, watermelon. Watermelon is 92% water. So you can eat it, get a great treat, fill you up, and also hydrate at the same time. Actually, most of the melons, cantaloupe is another good one. Berries like strawberries, cucumbers, tomatoes, lettuce, so many other great options that are high in water content. We can consume those. So after you've done all the things that you should be doing, and that is not consuming or decreasing the foods and the drinks that dehydrate you, and you are consuming the foods that are high in their water content, if you're doing all of that and you're still dehydrated, then you can consider adding a little bit of Celtic salt or sea salt to your water, and that'll help your cells absorb the water. But a lot of us can just make the simple changes that I mentioned, and that will help us tremendously not be one of the statistics going to the hospital because of dehydration or sunstroke issues. This is Penny, also known as Plant-Based.
Ah, yes. This is Penny, also known as Plant-Based Penny, as I am sharing. The really other final interesting thing that I want to point out is that most 60% of senior citizens do not drink the recommended amount of water that they need as well. That's leading to dizziness with them. And you don't have to be a senior citizen to be experiencing these symptoms, but it's especially pertinent and it's especially important that we look out for this population because it can lead to falls. And a lot of seniors who fall, then they may hit their head or have other complications as a result of that fall. So if you have someone that you care for who is considered a senior who has challenges with mobility or they're just in the aging process, it's something that you want to make sure that you talk with them about or make sure that they are drinking their water. And I will also mention, did not mention it during the video, but if you've done all those things, then you can take what's considered an electrolyte salt. So I'm going to play the video again, or I'm going to continue playing the video just to make sure I don't double speak and mention what I'm going to already mention in the video. Okay, let's go back. And thank you.
Penny, I help people move from problems to progress with plant-based and natural solutions. Let me know if I can help add value to your organization or with the one-on-one consultation.
Okay, excellent. So what I wanted to add to that video is that if you've done all of these things, you have omitted the dehydrating foods and drinks from your diet. If you have omitted the proteins, the salty foods, the drinks from your daily diet, if you have added the water soluble, the water abundant foods to your diet, and then you are still dehydrated, then you can add electrolytes or just simply take just a small amount of salt, and that will be Celtic, or some people say Celtic salt or sea salt, to your water. Just put it in your bottle of water and just drink it. And that will help your cells absorb the water. So, and when I say a pinch, some of us have heavy hands when it comes to pinch, but it can be just a very small amount. So just a very small, not even a pinch, just all you need is a little bit of the salt added to your water, and then you should be fine, because you want to avoid the fatigue. You want to avoid the decline in the brain cognitive function, and you want to feel your best. You want to feel your best and look your best. You're not old, you're just dehydrated. And so join me with others as we try to do our best to take care of the body temples that God has given us so that we can be better stewards of it. And let me know if I can help you in any way. My name is Penny, also known as Plant-Based Penny. And I want to help you move from problems to progress with plant-based solutions and be well. Thank you so much. And we will talk with you later. Bye-bye.